An early teacher in Portland was Susan Haskell Wilbur. Susan and her husband, Edwin, were some of the first Adventist missionaries to Canton, China. Susan loved the Chinese people. Unfortunately, when Mr. Wilbur died in China, Susan returned to the United States. In the 1920s, Susan was asked to teach in Portland, Oregon, because of its large community of Chinese people. Her next call took her to San Francisco, Chinatown. Susan believed that if the children's needs are met, then the parents' interests will follow. With this philosophy in mind, Susan started a day nursery for the Chinese children in the neighborhood. Before long, she had 30 to 40 Chinese children under her care. This work provided Susan with opportunities to talk with the parents and share the gospel. Let me read you a small section from this book about Susan's life. Her first converts were the Wong family, who lived next door to Susan and her boys. Susan had Mrs. Wong's 3 little boys to teach, and soon she had the mother taking them to the Central Church in San Francisco. Before long, Mrs. Wong was baptized. One of those 3 boys was my grandfather. If it weren't for an Adventist teacher, I probably wouldn't be an Adventist. My grandfather was such a strong believer in Adventist education that he made it a priority to see that my mother attended Adventist schools all the way from first grade through medical school. Both my father and mother attended Monterey Bay Academy in California. At the time, however, they barely knew each other. Both of them came back for their 10-year high school reunion and fell in love. Apparently, one thing led to another, and one could say that I exist because of Adventist education. For my education, my parents have sent me to Adventist schools. When I look back over my short academic career, I would say that my 5th grade year was a turning point for me in becoming a more responsible student. That was the year I met Mrs. Ida Parker. Before Parker, I was allowed to use the quick answer for the quick finish. I was the smallest in the class. During my 5th grade year, I took my first steps towards improving in these areas. And on the plus side, I'm still growing. Mrs. Parker expected so much of her students. During my year with her, I learned what TWAs meant. 10-word answers. It took half a school year for me to learn that yes and no aren't 10-word answers. She also taught me how to use the word because properly in a sentence. Here's an example. Because Mrs. Parker taught me how to use 10-word sentences, I'm standing here today. I'm still a work in progress, but I am improving. Unfortunately, my 5th grade year wasn't all smiles and happy times. That was the year I experienced the pain of being bullied. One student chose me as his next target, and boy, do I remember it. The bullying first started in the computer lab, with name-calling such as stupid and dumb, because I couldn't type fast. Next, my short stature was his target. He would hold up a bathroom pass just out of my reach and taunt me to jump. I blew off his actions at first, but they were truly eating into me. Eventually, I told my dad, and he played the Papa Bear role of being very protective. He proceeded to tell Mrs. Parker. Her words were, "Thanks for letting me know, and I'll take care of this." I never had any real trouble from the bully again. it was a relief to know that I had a teacher who was also my guardian. I graduated from Portland Adventist Elementary School, and now I'm a sophomore at Portland Adventist Academy. We have weekly chapels at our school, and they're very inspirational. Just this last week, we had a man by the name of Julius Achone come and speak. Julius was a child soldier for Joseph Kony in Uganda. Luckily, at age 12, Julius escaped and went on to lead the life as an Olympic runner. His message was one of perseverance and hope. Today, Julius sponsors 11 children in Uganda. Going to an Adventist school provides us with the opportunities of being able to share our faith openly. Just this last week, one of my friends, Michael Koval, started a Bible study group. Our Bible teachers, Pastor Stephen and Pastor Greg, share in the club sponsorship. Every period at PAA starts with prayer. On Wednesdays, I hear 7 teachers praying 7 different prayers for each of the students in the class. I once saw a piece of artwork that said, "Music is prayer without words." I've thought about this for a long time, but the meaning didn't truly reveal itself until about 2 months ago in a church service. PAA's orchestra director, Miss Petty, shared her personal testimony where she talked about faith and prayer in her life. She finished with a song that was a lot like a prayer. Its title was, "What Wondrous Love Is This?" In closing, I would like to invite Miss Petty to play that song with me. But why are Portland Adventist teachers so important? They provide opportunities for my friends and me to experience God's wondrous love.